Hey everyone, Steve here from My Crypto World. So today, as I mentioned in my last video, we're going to do a series on the 11 things you can do to ride through a bear market in the cryptocurrency space. All that right after this. Okay everyone, so today, as I mentioned, we're going to go through the 11 key strategies and ideas that I use all the time when I'm investing. And it doesn't matter where I'm investing, whether I'm investing in property, shares or crypto. I try to keep these 11 things in my brain to help me ride through any storms that might happen in any particular market. Now these 11 strategies and ideas, they're certainly not in any particular order. I've just listed them down for us. So let's kick it off. So the first one is ignore the FUD. Now for those that don't know, FUD just stands for fear, uncertainty and doubt. And what we're going through right now in the crypto space, if you've done some research, if you've logged online to YouTube, which you're seeing this now, or you may be onto some of the news articles like Cointelegraph or Medium or the Daily Hodl, you're going to come across a bunch of information. Many of it's positive, a lot of it's also very negative. It's about 50-50 at the moment, the market sentiment at this point in time. And I would encourage you to read articles that inspire you and to give you some type of hope of where certain projects might be going and the crypto market overall will be going. There is no doubt there is a lot of clickbait out there, and that gets you to click onto a news article that might be all about doom and gloom, and you'll read the article and it'll make your fear, uncertainty and doubt even worse. So you really want to keep that in check. That's the first tip I have for you. The second tip is, if you're new to this, start and invest small. Only invest in what you can afford to lose. Now, even if if you're somebody who's got a lot of disposable income and you're still new to this space, I would strongly recommend just to start small. Get used to the idea of how the markets work, how the markets can be manipulated. Get used to having your crypto on either on an exchange or in a cold wallet or a hot wallet. And just get used to the whole functionality of the crypto world. Really pretty important, actually. Tip number 3, crypto requires some education. Now, there is stacks of free education on YouTube and crypto-specific websites that host mountains of free articles. I really encourage you to do that. Find one that suits you. Some of the articles that are out there are if you've got the time to read them, that is absolutely fantastic. Some of them can take more than 10 minutes just to read a simple article. YouTube presenters like myself, and there's a dozen other ones on YouTube at the moment, you'll find that once or twice a week they will go through the top stories of the day. They will get specific details out of a lengthy article and just give you the highlights. So it saves you a lot of time. Instead of a 20-minute read, you might have a 5-minute video that'll explain in depth what that article actually relates to. It's specifically important if you're interested in a particular crypto or an investment strategy. Just YouTube or Google those ideas. So if you're into Bitcoin or you want to know about Ethereum or Theta or anything like that, look for them specifically. If you're going to go onto YouTube, I strongly suggest you have a look at a number of different providers out there who are promoting their education, and just make sure you're choosing somebody who you're going to you sit well with, and you understand their philosophy and you like the way they talk and present, all that sort of stuff. Really important. So for the majority of the part, crypto education is fairly free. You've just got to do your own research and put some time into it as well. Tip number 4, fear is the worst emotion you can have, and it does make you or forces you to make very poor decisions. Now, for those that are new in the crypto space, maybe you've only been in it 6 months to 12 months, you're probably in a lot of pain at the moment. It is a natural feeling to want to get out of the market and never come back into it again. And I would strongly advise against that. Again, this is my own personal view, and I can only tell you what I've done in the past when markets have gone bearish. The truth is, the people who make the most money out of either crypto or property or shares, it doesn't really matter what the asset class is, are the ones who tend to stay in the longest. They ride through the ups and they ride through the downs. So if you can afford to, don't let fear create your exit strategy for you. Really have a clear mindset on what you're trying to achieve and ride through the storm wherever you can. Tip number 5. Again, it comes down to fear, but it's all about failure. Don't worry about failing. If your portfolio is down 20% or 60% or 80%, it's not necessarily a bad thing if you learn a lesson from this. The best investors in the world have made the most mistakes. So failure is okay, but learning a lesson from it is better. Failing and not learning is the worst thing you can do. Number 6, when markets drops, you have to be aware that the biggest wealth transfers happen. That's when it all takes place. Right now, you can accumulate more crypto for less, rather than 6 months ago where we were accumulating less crypto for more later, and that will be the truth as well further down the track. Now, in my last video, I spoke about how millionaires are created in the crypto space. They are certainly not created when the bull run kicks off. It is done well and truly a long time before that. So right now, I can tell you that the smart people, the smart money are getting back into crypto. There'll be fund managers buying up heavily into the crypto space because they can now get them at discounts of about 60% or 80% in some cases. And it's really riding the storm out throughout this period before the bull market kicks off again. So you accumulate more while it's less, and you hold on for the ride when the market takes off. And this is where we're at the moment. So remember, wealth transfer happens in bear markets more often than not. Tip number 7, and actually tip number 8, bear markets always come to an end, but so do bull markets. So you just have to remember there are cycles within the markets. People talk about bulls and bears all the time. The truth is there are 3 cycle phases. There is a bull market, there's a bear market, and there's also an accumulation, either a distribution phase as well, where the markets tend to go sideways for a little bit. So you've just got to be aware of those. Tip number 9, review history. Look back and see what's happened in the past and how crypto or stock or any asset class has recovered in the past. This will give you a good sense of comfort. There's never been a market crash in the world that we've never recovered from, and there's never been a market correction in the world where we have never breached our previous all-time high. Markets will always come back. It's just the nature of the beast. You just got to hold out for that. But having a look at the charts, the historical charts, on cryptocurrency. I did a video last week regarding what the market looked like back in 2017. You could go and have a look at that on the S&P 500. It doesn't have to relate to crypto. You can have a look at that in the property market, depending on where you are in the world. Most of that data is freely available. Again, search YouTube or just Google that information and do some research yourself, and you'll see that understanding that markets do actually come back can provide you with a sense of comfort when the market's in its current state of being quite bearish. Number 10 would be to remind yourself that crypto is still new. It's still a very fresh asset class. It's kind of like the Wild West out there in some respects, but the truth is we're only at a 1 point something trillion dollar mark, and that is a drop in the ocean to the whole world global economy. So again, what you'll find through market crashes, and I mentioned this last time, is that the projects that have got a lot of value that will add meaning to businesses in the future and to the way of our normal way of life will be the ones that will survive through this. They'll get through it. Their technology will become more adopted as hope and aspiration sort of returns to the market. So you really want to watch out for that. And number 11 is to DCA. So for those of you that don't know what DCA is, it just stands for dollar cost averaging. And what that does, it decreases your exposure to price volatility. And that's really, really important. Now, there are a lot of YouTubers on out there that will explain to you how dollar cost averaging works. It is actually very simple. It's nothing too complicated. And there are a number of different strategies you can implement to use dollar cost averaging. To give you an example though, so if you were to invest $1,000 into crypto, let's say you bought a particular crypto for $1 per crypto and you bought 1,000 of them. So you've spent $1,000 and then the crypto falls down to 50 cents. So your investment is now worth half of what you invested in, which is now $500. So you've lost $500, but you've still got $500. If you weren't to dollar cost average, you would have to wait for that market to return, or that particular crypto to return all the way up to $1 for you to just break even again before you started making money if it was going to increase beyond $1. So through dollar cost averaging, you could decide to purchase more of that same crypto at the lower price of 50 cents. So in a sense, you're setting up two transactions. Transaction number one, you buy 1,000 cryptos at $1 and it cost you $1,000. Transaction number two is you buy 1,000 of that same crypto, but now at 50 cents. So that transaction would have cost you $500. So all in all, you've put $1,500 into that particular crypto. But because you've split your buying strategy across two purchases at two different price ranges, that crypto now only has to get to 75 cents for you to break even instead of reaching all the way to $1. So that's one way of doing it to maybe mitigate some of your losses, is to purchase more at a cheaper rate. And I can tell you the smart investors do a lot of that. They get it in cheaper. They get in at a lower price in the future, which helps offset some of the losses they might have made throughout the bear market. Now, the other way you can do a dollar cost averaging is you can just simply set up a payment system. Most people do it on their pay cycle. So if you happen to get paid weekly, fortnightly or monthly, you just set it up. So the day you get paid, a portion of your pay, it might only be $100, comes out of your account, it goes into your crypto wallet, and then that day you would purchase more of whatever cryptocurrency you're after, whether it be Bitcoin or Ethereum. Through bear cycles, which is what we're going through now, you really want to probably stick to the top 50 crypto asset classes or crypto coins that are out there in the market if you're going to do this strategy. Certainly backing on Bitcoin or Ethereum and things, projects like that, layer one solutions, is what you probably want to focus on to commence with. But in saying that, if you've got a large portfolio already, you could certainly add to any alternative coin that you wanted to as well. So buying on a regular basis helps you mitigate the ups and downs that happen. So some weeks you'll be getting crypto and it'll cost you a little bit more. Other weeks it'll cost you a little bit less. But overall, the price per crypto is a lot more stable for you, rather than just buying at the dips or the highs. So that's our strategy for today. There's my 11 strategies, top tips for investing in the crypto market. They become, it's something I focus on a lot, but they become more relevant when the market is in a bear cycle. So I hope these strategies help. We'll see you in the next video. Until then, take care.